Trying to get up in it. Reading all these books, been alone, that's the usual.
Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 21 of The Chop. Been on a little break, I know. We're getting back to it. Sorry for the hiccups. But we have a special guest again on this episode doing a Zoom call. And going to let him introduce himself.
Yo, what's up? Appreciate you guys having me on. First of all, I'm Blair, Blair Martin. So what I do, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Creative kind of aspects really quick because I feel like we met on the foundation of creative people in Denver.
100%.
But I do graphic design. I wouldn't really necessarily call myself an artist, but a designer because more of problem solving. So whichever way I can problem solve and tell a story through that solution is kind of my aspiration and like what I do, and as many ways as possible to like reach people through like a variety of mediums. So whether it be through pictures, I take pictures. I wouldn't say I necessarily do that as a job, although I have been paid to take pictures. So videos slightly, but like more on the editing side. Not like editing with audio, but more like the visual edits. Then architecture, went to school for architecture and still have a semester left with that. And we'll see what school I end up graduating from. Just with COVID and, taking a break from that, as well as the podcast I have going on air with Blair, and pretty similar to you all's, and highlighting young people and just chopping it up on the chop.
Laid it down, honestly. Like,
yeah, that was.
I didn't even remember. Like, yeah,
that was perfect.
Graphic design. I knew you did graphic design. When we met it. So we met at the. What was the event called? It was Mindset of a Hustler event.
Hustler Talks.
Yeah, with Malcolm.
Yeah, that was badass.
Influence was the topic of the event, I think.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of the influencers.
Yeah, that was badass. And I remember, like, I met you, but then he introduced you to Trey. You remember Trey Stone?
Yeah.
Our buddy that we brought. And
yeah,
I don't know. I guess we just didn't really talk that much, but yeah, that was a good refresher.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
It's been a while. Like, what have you guys been up to?
I mean, honestly, I was listening to what you were saying. I'm like, damn, like low key, I'm on some of the same shit. Like for photography, like I wouldn't say I'm a professional photographer, but like I've been getting paid to take some photos for like a family friend's company, or two of them, so like that's been dope and broadening my portfolio. Like one of my pictures now is on a semi truck for the company. Like I think personally, like I don't know, that's so dope to me that like
yeah,
people are gonna, when they get the product, they're gonna see a photo I took, like, or if they think it looks good, like that's off of something I made. So I mean, to me that was dope. And I've done some video, like making a couple like music videos for homies, editing the podcast and shit. So like I was like, a lot of like what I was more interested in, well, hopefully we can go into, is how you got into architecture school, like what took you to that.
Well, I'm sure we'll stumble on
if you want to go on like what you've been up to, fresh him.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I was going to say, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, damn, since then, that was a grip ago, but that's when I moved out here. I moved out here in January in Fort Collins.
Yeah, I remember
just to be closer, because I was driving up. We were doing this. I was driving up an hour and a half to do the podcast. So I was like, well, might as well just move up there, not have to drive so far to do what I want to do what we're doing right now. So moved out here, got a job on a farm as a milkman.
Man, that's dope.
So that's kind of how I look at it too. I was like, I'm going to look back and this is going to be sick.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's cool, bro.
Right, bro?
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. You get it.
Yeah, bro, it's hard actually.
Yeah,
like I get a whole different perspective. Like when he brings that perspective to me, I'm just like, damn, like that is dope. Like it makes me more appreciative, and like
it's pretty crazy. Like to see everything. I mean, I've been super fascinated with all that too. I started like getting really into like just where our food comes from and
Yeah,
how I eat, what I eat. And,
yeah. I actually man, I just had a conversation with my friend Dylan about that for an episode I'm gonna have.
Yeah,
He
man.
goes to school for like that exact thing, and we're talking about arable land. But really quick, like a big recommendation for that would be Kiss the Ground on Netflix. And
oh, that's
I don't
fantastic.
know if you've seen it,
I
but
actually I did. So I listened to this. You give me that book, Mark Hyman.
Yeah, Mark Hyman. Yeah.
So I was reading this.
Follow this guy.
He was actually in the movie.
mhm.
See the ultimate solution. See, it's like broccoli in a pill bottle. I thought that was tough. But yeah, and he was one of the guys that was interviewed in that, or he helped make it, and that's how I heard of that. He's like, just dropped this. I'm part of this. But yeah, he's like a functional medicine practitioner, and he wrote another book called Food Fix, and it's all of that, and it's crazy, bro.
I'm telling you, it's nuts. Just
It's bad, honestly.
speaking like about the fertilizer, the desertification of land, like arable land, talking about.
That's crazy that you're talking about this because, bro, this is him every day.
You're asking what I've been up to.
Like that's literally what he's been up to. Is like reading
books
all this shit.
on all this, like literally any.
Man, that's fire. That's life, bro. I say this is what people are supposed to know. Like
exactly
the source, like
it's crazy. See, people are so disconnected from the food they eat. It blows me away. We barely ever eat out here at the house. Like we're always cooking. We got like it's just I don't know. It's come to mean a lot to me here in the past year for sure.
We started going to the farmers market every Sunday.
Yeah,
like
that's fire.
Yeah, supporting local. We were just like, we got to go dive in.
Yeah, when I was out there, actually, I volunteer with the Frontline Farming with Javon. Actually, yeah, put me on.
I've heard of that.
Javon's killing it,
bro. Javon is that dude. I'm telling you, like, like he's a goat. I'm like, bro, I love Javon.
He's slaying it.
Yeah. So Frontline Farming, it's a community garden. You can just volunteer, spend your Saturday morning just harvesting crops. Not even just harvesting, cleaning the garden, tilling if you have to. But whatever you do to help, then you can go home with some fresh fruits and vegetables at the end of the shift. And
that's the most badass shit I've ever heard in my life.
It's cool, man. Like,
yeah, he just wrote it down on a sticky note.
Yeah, Frontline Farming. Oh wow.
Yeah, definitely ask Javon about it. And, like the people are cool. They always have a time where people just get in a group and just talk and just share what they're thankful for or something along that line, and just share where they come from and a quick little circle.
That's the
root.
That's everything right there. That's so sick. It's cool that they're combining, like, because you could argue like we're building communities and we're creatives and but they're like putting food into it, and it's just that's a whole different, like, the earth is where we live. Like, it's so much connectivity with that. Come on, I got to get down on some of that.
I'm telling you, like we could have a whole conversation about.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, man. I think jump back into, I guess, more about you. You're the guest. I'm super curious. I'm like, did you know you wanted to go to agriculture or architecture school?
We're just talking about
agriculture. You're talking about agriculture, architecture school, like in high school, or like how did you get into that? Like, I guess you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How did you follow-up question after that? How did you know you were a designer and not an artist?
Cool. That's a good one. All right. So architecture, it's something that it was a last second decision for my major. However, it was something I've always kind of done without knowing. So the artist part, I would say I have artist skills, but I wouldn't identify as an artist because I've always drawn, I've always colored stuff. Like I was looking at my old coloring book from when I was 4 years old than pages that I'd thrown in there along the way from like me growing up, than some old portraits that I did. And I saw that I had a certificate for like portraits and whatnot. So fast forward through high school, or actually middle school, I started doing Google SketchUp. Uh, I, my school system is pretty solid. Like it's a big school, Plano, Texas, Plano ISD. So they had this engineering program called Project Lead the Way, and I was like, engineering, that sounds cool. Like I don't really want to do a desk job, but if I did, I want to be an engineer.
I was gonna say
So,
it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I was like, I'm sold.
so Google SketchUp in 8th grade, like you're already designing houses and you don't even really know it. They're
See what? I never. I'm not trying to cut you off, but like, bro, we didn't have any of those resources. Like, not that I know of, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy to hear that.
And it's crazy because it's a public school too. Because, you know, that's something you would think that would be at a private school. So
yeah, that's crazy.
like I'm really fortunate to have gone to that school system. Like I feel like I was that school system put me so much further ahead than college that I felt like college had let me down when I got there.
Damn.
Because I went through those engineering courses all throughout high school. I visited the architecture firm my senior year, like with my friend CJ. His dad was a civil engineer. Then I realized it wasn't so much the math and stuff that I liked, although it was cool. I liked more of the designing aspect of the engineering prior to all the analytics. So I decided to go to school for architecture, and I realized the problem solving stuck out more to me than the art did for architecture, because I didn't realize how much form could be played with and how much things could be manipulated with, and not just the exterior, but the interior, as well as the lighting. So a lot of smaller things
that's like a basis to
crazy.
life.
It's crazy, like how people just think. Architects think different, and I think more along the lines of a like engineer in terms of an architecture school, because I think more along the lines of functionality. Like although architects are supposed to think about functionality, you have the Denver Art Museum, which has angled walls. So you have a portrait that's being displayed at an angle. You have an art piece that's usually supposed to be displayed on a flat surface being displayed, not at a linear plane. So it's not perceived the same. So it's kind of like messing with the art.
Damn.
So, you know, stuff like that I didn't like. I'm like, you have a job to do, but it's like in a lot of cases it's not being fulfilled. So that went along with like sustainability and agriculture, and that took me more to my roots of not growing up on the farm, but visiting the farm every summer with my granddad, and like where he grew up, where my great grandparents were sharecroppers and took care of the land. Like at one point the farm, it had burned down. They had moved down to the Delta, came back and rebuilt it like in the 1930s and 40s, which is unheard of, and still have 90 acres. It's like super fortunate. Like where I come from, I'm like super fortunate, and that's me and Javon talked about it. We wanted to make something where people could have those resources and come back to and really explore and see what they want to do, like this, such as I've done. So yeah, that's what got me into architecture, that whole idea in the first place of like providing a place for somebody. Because being born in Chicago, another part of my roots, like I would say it's part of my roots that I wanted to be in architecture. So being in Chicago, born in Chicago, having a bunch of family there, and seeing it's the slums compared to where I'm from. Like it's not cool. So having a space that can feel safe, my little cousins can feel safe and just, you know, kick it and learn at the same time. So that, like, I actually looked at that in one of my old poems that I wrote. Like, that's what got me into architecture, and that's still what I want to do today. So in the designing part, it's the problem solving instead of artist. It's like problem solving for sure. So
So
Yeah, man.
that's badass, man. I like that. I think it's crazy that we were talking about agriculture, and then I don't know, you just brought up like you brought up your family, like your roots. Like agriculture is problem solving and architecture in a way, and that's just like it was in your roots before you even knew it.
yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like so much to pick out. That's so crazy, man.
I just fuck with like you like just knew what you wanted to do and like went for it. Like I don't know, personally from like everything I heard, I don't know, there probably was loops and bounds and challenges, but like I love that like you were super just like determined and like finding your own path, and it seemed like you were doing really what you wanted and like finding like, oh, this is dope. I can make a difference here. Like how can we, like you said, problem solving, I guess. How can I take this and like I don't know, super
Yeah,
complex
and
thinking. I fuck with that.
I'd say you can tell too.
Respect.
You could tell when, yeah, that's one thing. And you're talking about the Denver Art Museum, dude. People don't think that way. Like that's so.
Yeah, that's what.
Like you absolutely are. I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'm not. You know, obviously that's not my major, and I don't really know shit about shit. But you know, you are messing with the art. Like I don't know. People don't think like that.
Yeah.
You know? People don't think like, damn, this wall is throwing off how people see, like, come on, people don't think like that. It's refreshing to know that somebody else does. Like I tend to have that kind of thinking too, maybe not with, you know, architecture and in that sense, but it's refreshing to like hear somebody articulate something like that. It's like, come on, that's what, you know, that's how we feel like it's, you know, that's part of building a community, I feel like, and being able to talk to other people, like, is such a nice outlet.
Yeah.
Are you it made me think when you're talking about like not like, I guess, kind of resources, or like, you know, giving people kind of like what you did, man, like follow your curiosities and let that be your teacher instead of like a curriculum. Have you seen that Zac Efron Netflix special with
I haven't.
he travels like travels the world?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I haven't watched it though.
Oh, you got to go peek that.
Yeah,
That's
some people bash on it. I've been seeing like people dog on it, but I mean, yeah, I've even heard people say it like out loud, and bro, I loved it personally.
Well, the reason I brought it up is because it just made me think of what you were saying, because he went to this island, and it's funny because agriculture and all that, it was for but their whole island is basically like, it's everything. It's where they live, it's their food source, you know, how it should be.
Yeah.
And then their curriculum for their kids I mean, they even interviewed a kid, and he said, like, they asked him, what do you like best about this school versus, because he had come from another school, like, and he says, well, I like this school because I could choose my destiny. And, you know, they set up the curriculum to just follow their curiosities, like, oh, how does this work? Well, I don't know, let's go find out, versus this is what we're learning today, like, you know, the typical what we do.
Yeah.
Talking about like college failed you after being, you know, having it's like, it's so relevant.
Yeah, dude. I mean, our school system's crazy.
It is.
All
Truly.
over the U.S., honestly. I don't know how it is in other countries. I guess I can't even talk, but I feel
It's
like
great. Yeah, like even, I guess, from the difference from Texas to here, Colorado.
yeah.
You don't remember
Yeah.
any of that.
Even I think with the Native American tribe map, had you guys seen that before in public school?
Maybe, but I don't remember.
Not enough to remember it.
I was gonna say I had one class, and I think it was like African American history or something like that. But my professor, Dr. Green, had shown this map of the states and essentially like the territories, quote unquote, the territories of the tribes before, you know, colonization and like manifest destiny and whatnot. But half of the class had seen it and the other half hadn't. And half of the class was from like Wyoming and Idaho and like places in like states in the West. Then the other half was just from everywhere else. And
Wild.
like, it's crazy how we've seen this and, you know, you haven't, and it's still the same history, you
And
know.
it's crazy because that's from state to state. Imagine what it's like country to country.
I was just talking. It's crazy. Like 2 days ago, we have homies from Argentina, and I was just talking to him about the school system, and he said when he came to America from Argentina, the grade levels were so different. Like he had already like had enough credits to have graduated. Like he showed up, like he was in his first semester of his junior year, and then they moved over, and when he got here, they're like, you could graduate, like he's like, wait, what? Like I'm a junior. So like it's just so thrown off, like
It's crazy.
and they're learning about like English, like to try to like better them to come to America, and like that's the American dream. Like it's crazy how like people actually study that to like know our language, speak it, and our culture, so they can maybe come here and start a life or
Crazy
career.
That's interesting. Yeah, my friend Tommy,
Homie, where's he from?
he's Nigerian.
Oh, okay. We have another Argentine friend named Tommy.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, is he from Argentina?
No, he's Nigerian.
Okay.
But he went to undergrad at in London. I'm not sure where, but in London. Then he's finished his grad school at CU Denver, where I met him, and he was talking about how different the education is in America, saying it's easier, but America is a land of opportunity. He goes, it's so easy to make money in America. He goes, you may not be doing necessarily what you want, but you can still make money. He goes, you just have to, like, it sucks, but you just have to, you know, it doesn't suck, but you just have to grind. Like if you really want something, you know, you just have to put your head down and do it, because that's kind of what the system is. You know, there's so many opportunities to make money. He said that's the difference in America to other places. He goes, it may not be necessarily better in all aspects or all as what it's built up to be. However, it still like has that at the end of the day. Like it's easy, not easy, but like there's ways to work with what you have. There's more work with what you have than in other places.
I could literally go sell this mouse right now for $40 and then buy something that's gonna make flip that 40 into 80. The 80, like bro, money is everywhere. Like
it's just a matter of, it's crazy though. Like you said, he's from Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine. Like,
I think a big part of that is perspective. What I was thinking is like we grew up in this.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Like the opportunity and do whatever you want. You can be an astronaut. You can, I mean, and like that's a great mindset. I think you should think that you can do whatever you want, as long as you work hard for it. But you know, that's just crazy to me that other countries and other people, like from an outside perspective, of course, which we don't know. Like I don't know like that other culture, a culture of people in London or whatever. So like it's just crazy to think that how they view us.
Yeah, that should be part of the curriculum too. Fucking traveling and seeing other cultures.
That'd be live. Like just a trip once a year or something to, probably couldn't go international, but like as close to it, go to Canada or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
It's cool, you know, they have these abroad, like they do have, but like
study abroad, I guess.
Yeah, like they have those opportunities, but that's something that everybody should see, like, because it gives you more perspective. Like that should be fucking, like if you don't go to Africa, you don't get to graduate. Like that's something that should be on my credits.
What I was just thinking, what you made me think of is we do have study abroad for like college and stuff like that. So why can't we just put this stuff in the school system when we're younger?
earlier.
Like
Yeah.
expose us to this stuff when like I'm in fourth grade,
When it
fifth
matters.
grade, and like I have so much curiosity and
Mhm.
like I'm not saying I still don't, but like when you're young, dude, you're like your mind is
Malleable.
yeah, like everywhere. You're just learning, like it's just a sponge.
That
Yeah,
malleable.
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, you could, if you really wanted to, you could teach a fifth grader calculus. Like it's teach him algebra when he's in second grade. Like it's definitely doable. I don't think kids don't have the capacity to, maybe be a little bit harder to reach them, but like kids are, they can speak any language.
It's literally, dude. It's just the exposure itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's they, because there's the mother tongue. Like just because they're exposed to this one language, that's why they can speak it. Although they can learn any language, or learn or
Yeah.
know any language. I think that's interesting. I feel like kids. I think that we're a lot more kids. Adults are more kids than we want to give like ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yes.
look at your parents, I talked to Damien about this. He was at the Mercury Cafe with us, but he's talking about how his mom had reacted to his sister or something, and it was very similar to a child throwing a temper tantrum, and out of anger and frustration, you don't want to talk to anybody, like just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like the same kind of idea, like of being a kid. And I don't, I forgot where I was going with that, but I think it's pretty interesting that kids are as much as adults, can be as much as adults in some situations in terms of leading, and not leading, but like understanding, and adults can be kids in terms of like actions and emotions. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, I feel where you're going there. At the
Yeah,
end, you
same.
wrapped it up. Yeah. You brought it back.
No, I don't. I think that was perfect.
Yeah.
No.
I kind of got lost there. I was like, but I see the similarities between both of them. Like they aren't, like we aren't too much different.
100%.
Facts.
Yeah,
we're,
man.
we're we're malleable ourselves. That brain plasticity.
Yeah,
We,
we're still growing. Like we're still young, so maybe that's
Yeah.
another reason why. Like we're
100%.
young adults. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I think that education reform that make a big difference in terms of perspective and even the future. Like how you're saying, back to agriculture. If we implement those ideas and a little bit younger, and say instead of doing a science project, you plant a tree, or you plant some of your own fruit, or just have like a bell pepper or tomato plant in your backyard, and
I
you
will
just
say,
along the way.
the elementary school I went to, I still kind of live by it, and I drove by it. I mean, in the past couple of years, they now have a school garden.
Yeah.
Dang.
That needs to be mandatory.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Like the kids manage it and stuff. They grow like sunflowers, and I don't know. I'm not sure about vegetables. They probably do, but
It's important, man.
it's pretty. That should be everywhere. Yeah.
It's important.
Did-
It's important.
So did they have like a environmental club, or it's just like,
I have no clue. I just drove by and seen these big sunflowers, and they got it all gated off and raised flower beds. I mean, I haven't gone back and like talked to anyone, but
Yeah, that's the thing too. I think like we have more resources than we think, but they're like that's why like that's the shit that should be required to graduate. Like know how your food grows, know like what like I don't know, like I feel like that's more important. But
yeah,
oh man, I guess we got to make those changes over time.
yeah. But I was
Yeah.
curious. I guess to bring it, we can kind of get to an end.
I do want to
What-
know a little. I just didn't know like what was your main work with graphic design? Like, I don't know if that was because I know you have like a whole separate page
hmm
with your graphic design too.
the PNG.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just
No, I mean,
before-
yeah. I was pretty much saying like it's a
Yeah, I
let
didn't
him-
want to
let
cut
him
him
wrap
off,
it up more.
But yeah, I just wanted to know like I guess
for sure.
what your angle is there. Like, is that do you is that like something you offer to people? Like, do you do graphic design work, or
Yeah.
where are you at with that?
So it's pretty interesting. Again, relating it back to architecture, I didn't really we weren't really given much guidance on how to use computer programs to get through Studio. So to learn Illustrator and some things in Photoshop, I would look at YouTube videos for like drawing specifically, just because I found interest in that, and just to learn how to use the tools for it. And I just so happen to be like pretty decent at drawing on the computer as well. So with that, I've been doing commissions, logos, as well as cover art and cartoons.
Yeah,
So
I've seen your cartoons. Those are dope.
appreciate it.
Yeah, those are all dope.
Yeah, man.
I even for a while I had your
Might have
fucking.
to-
You drew those Nikes with like the baby blue and black,
Yeah.
like a wallpaper, and I screenshotted that shit. I had that as my wallpaper for a minute.
Oh, dope. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was dope.
I'm like revising that page
Mm.
right now. I just took it down,
Definitely.
but I'll have to put that back up, and I'm probably gonna do some more with that. Like once I get trying to get organized right now. That's why I've taken a break from the podcast, and like I have a bunch of pictures and stuff in my bag. I'm just waiting to post it.
Yep.
When
Grind in silence. I think you were talking about that in a podcast we were listening to. You're like,
yeah,
I keep my stuff like I'm working in silence. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's cool to share like that you are doing stuff and
Yeah.
kind of give like little sneak peeks to people, but like keeping that energy like locked in and honed in is kind of important as well. So
It's
I am
almost like
it's a contradiction, bro, because I feel like the same all the time, because I don't know, I'm pretty, like, I get shit done, but getting shit done to me doesn't always mean like I posted a picture. Like, I took some dope pictures and like I edited
Yeah.
some. I don't know, like, I feel you. It's a contradiction always.
yeah, it's like it doesn't look like to the public. It doesn't look like you're doing anything, but you have like a lot in your portfolio.
You can't judge yourself, man.
yeah. I was about to say like at the end of the day, like it's you versus you.
Yeah,
Like it's
Yeah.
not like you're not trying to. This man shaking his head like fuck. Yeah, but I mean for real, it's like you can't compare yourself to anyone. Like we all don't
Just
know.
doesn't make
We all don't
sense.
know what we're doing. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of taking the action and fuck yeah. I've been fucking with that heavy. It's like it's me versus me. Like
yeah.
that's all it is.
Man, I was just listening to it. Today's been we've been on a crazy vibe today because
Yeah.
I was listening to a song called Life by Lou. He said, if it's me against myself, then like who's my real enemy or something like that. And it's like, dang, I felt that. That's deep.
Yeah. We do that all the time, dude. We pull little lyrics out of songs and we're just like, what the fuck? Like, what was he going through to write that?
More importantly, it's crazy. Like we've been on this stretch of like everything's connected, and it
Yeah.
is, and I'll back that up till I die. But like, it's a little shit like that it's like, why did you why did you ask me if I watched that fucking Netflix, documentary?
Yeah.
And I just finished this book where there's this guy, like, he was the one that invited me like on an email to watch this documentary. I don't know, like shit like that. It's just like it's all connected. You can't deny it.
Definitely. That seems too specific to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's just too much shit like that.
But another thing we talk about is like, I feel like we're all just on a similar mindset. Like we met at mindset of a hustler. So I mean,
Yeah.
already right there, it's like that
Yeah, I
brings
got that.
together a community of like-minded people.
Shout out to the boys for sure.
So like obviously like we think and consume content in a similar way. We're not all the same, but like because whenever I talk to like creatives and people in that route, it's like I've seen that. I know this guy.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
always some
I've
level
heard
of-
this before. I'm like, look at this guy on Instagram. And they're like, oh, yeah, I've been following him for months. Like, he's so great. And it's like, then I asked one of my other homies who they're just on different shit. And they're like, it's just nothing to them. And like, I almost sometimes get upset. And then he's like, just, that's them, man. Like,
Yeah.
you can't compare. We don't all think the same. Like, yep. But like, it's all connected.
It's all connected.
That's been our shit. The Stoics.
Sometimes you got to meet people where they're at. You know, you can't just hit them with some straight knowledge and that they're not ready for.
Yeah, we were talking about the other day. Like, you got to sometimes come down to people's level.
Not in a way that bring
But, like-
yourself down to the, not in a bad way, but you know, you can't. I mean, I can't say it better than that. Like, you can't.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I understand. I can't put the word to it either.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, is there anything else you would like to
Yeah, anything
throw out?
plug? You want to plug?
You want to plug anything?
I mean, what's your main? You know, obviously you said you're regrouping and shit, but if you're something you're working on now that you want to plug or anything really.
For sure. I would say, if anything, just tap in with my podcast as well. On Air with Blair. And it's not the whole width, it's abbreviated. So just with the W, and that's on all social as well.
We'll throw the link in the description as well.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Cool. That this next season's coming out soon, and for the present time, November 29th, the last week. And planning on adding not a lot, but a few different things. So some playlists, bonus content, and Twitter and weekly YouTubes, and just staying organized and at it, having some more guests and staying consistent with having guests on it. So really trying to make your own.
Got a couple guests right here if you need any.
Oh, you already know it.
Yeah, anytime. I was curious. So you just do audio for your podcast?
So at first I have only audio up to like the 7th episode.
Word.
Then I've recorded on my phone, and I'd rip the audio from my phone on the Adobe Premiere Pro or Rush app, whatever the mobile Premiere app.
Rush, yeah.
Yeah. So I take the video, put it into Rush, mess with the audio on there, then I would hide the video and export it. So I'd airdrop it onto my laptop, onto the Anchor app.
Yeah.
So the Anchor app exports the video, audio.
Yeah.
So I just do that, then post it from the laptop.
You heard it here first, folks. If you ever wanted to start a podcast, you don't have a damn excuse.
Yeah.
Blair just taught you how, and
yeah, just served you.
just served you a cake.
Yeah. But, yeah, I
Inside.
guess so. It's not like on YouTube or anything.
It's not necessarily. So it's in the works.
Okay. Yeah. We can.
And by the time this next season's out, it'll be up to date from episode 7 to 18. So after that, it'll be weekly YouTubes. So it's just playing a little bit of catch up right now.
Yeah, no, we're on the.
Yeah.
We know that grind. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, we're playing the catch up too.
But yeah, there are videos. They're just in the bag.
Yeah, definitely, man. Grind in silence.
We'll chop this off. We can hold you on the line here, but we'll wrap up this episode real quick.
Yeah, appreciate everyone for watching. Homie Blair.
We'll leave the link in the description.
Link in the description
Make
for all
sure-
his stuff.
Yeah, make sure you
IG,
pop over it. I like the podcast.
On Air with Blair.
Yep.
Yeah, appreciate everyone for watching. And as always, stay grinding.
Stay grinding.
Couch and I'm eating all these nachos. Used to be broke and I never really got though. That's the reason I invest my money when I know the stock's low. Yeah, I be thinking out the box, ho. Every word I speak a gospel. Cause I've been thinking a lot. Maybe that's the main reason that I'm drinking a lot. I'm